has Amr ibn Hisham, which is Abu Jahl, and he used to be the leader of the Qabila. And it has a number of well-known Sahaba like Khalid ibn al-Walid wa Umar ibn al-Khattab. So Amr ibn Hisham, which is Abu Jahl, he was a strong and smart man, by the way. Yes, he is the Fir'aun هذه الأمة, but he is a strong man. That's why Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, when he made dua to Allah Azza wa Jal for one of the two Umars to become Muslim, because that would add, that would strengthen the Muslims' power. Umar ibn al-Khattab or Amr ibn Hisham, which means that Amr ibn Hisham, he's not an easy guy. For someone like him to be the leader of Bani Makhzum, he's not an easy guy. But unfortunately, Allah Azza wa Jal didn't will that for him to be in the Muslims forces. So Amr ibn Hisham, he has 4 brothers. He has Salam ibn Hisham, and he has Al-Harith ibn Hisham, and Zayd ibn Hisham, and they all from the same father and mother, okay? And he has another brother, half brother. So they have the same mother, but they don't have the same father. And he is the Sahabi that I'm going to talk about, inshallah, today. And his name is not well known. So I don't think it will be an easy question. But he is half brother of Abu Jahl. So we have Al-Harith ibn Hisham, Zayd ibn Hisham, Salam ibn Hisham, Amr ibn Hisham, which is Abu Jahl. And then we have the 5th one, which is a half brother of Abu Jahl. So the half brother of Abu Jahl, he embraced Islam very early stage, during Mecca. And that was something, as you know, Abu Jahl, he used to oppress Muslims, and he used to torture them during Mecca very hard. And for someone like his brother to become Muslim, that was a big thing for Bani Makhzum. So he became Muslim and he migrated to Al-Habasha. So the first migration to Al-Habasha, which is Al-Yemen, he migrated to Al-Yemen during Mecca's era, and then he went back to Mecca, and he stayed there until the second migration to Al-Madinah. So he was migrating to Al-Madinah with companion of Umar ibn al-Khattab. So that Sahabi and Umar ibn al-Khattab, both of them together migrating to Al-Madinah. And Abu Jahl came to know about the migration of his brother and Umar ibn al-Khattab. So Abu Jahl and Al-Harith ibn Hisham, which is his brother. So we said Amr ibn Hisham and Al-Harith ibn Hisham. Both of them, they went after their brother. And as they arrived to Quba, few miles away from Al-Madinah, they stopped and they found that Umar ibn al-Khattab and their brother, both of them together. So Abu Jahl, as I mentioned, he's smart enough to avoid direct fight with Umar ibn al-Khattab. Especially they are not in Mecca, they are only 2, and they know Umar ibn al-Khattab. So he was not in the situation to fight against Umar ibn al-Khattab. So he treated his brother, and he told him, they had the same mother, as we said, so he has a half brother. So the 3 of them are from the same mother. So they told him that your mother, she made an oath that she will not let a comb touch her hair, nor enjoying any shade in Mecca until you return back with us and she sees you, and after that you are free. Whether you need to go back to Al-Madinah or whether you need to stay at Mecca with your mother, that's up to you. But because she is ill and she really wants to see you. And this Sahabi was very kind to his mother even before Islam. So he was a good person even before Islam, especially to his mother. And then Umar ibn al-Khattab is smart as well. So Umar ibn al-Khattab talked to him, he said, they are cheating you. Your mother, once she starves and she is going to die from hunger, she will eat. And once to start to get diseases because of sitting under the direct sun, she will get into the shade. So don't listen to what they're saying. Get to Al-Madinah, talk to Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, and stay with us as a brother, and do not go back with them. But actually he couldn't let this situation go smoothly because it's his mother. So he decided to return back with them. So Umar ibn al-Khattab told him, if you decided to go back with them, this is my own camel, and he has a strong camel. So he gave it to him, and he told him, this is my own camel, and it is a fast and obedient camel. So if you feel any kind of ambush or trick, jump onto the camel and run away to Al-Madinah and they will not be able to catch you because I know this camel is very fast. So he took the camel and he went back with them. When they are getting closer to Mecca, Abu Jahl, which is Amr ibn Hisham, he cheated him again and he told him, my camel does not feel well and she doesn't move. Would you let me ride your camel with you? So I will not take your camel, but I will ride the camel behind you. And he said, that's fine. And as he asked the camel to get down, Abu Jahl straight away and Al-Harith ibn Hisham, they tied him, they locked him, and they took him into Mecca. As they going into Mecca, as they entered Mecca, Abu Jahl called Mecca's people and he told them, this is what we do for our sufaha. Sufaha means the stupid people. I don't know what is the literal meaning in English, but it's a kind of stupid, rude, something, the bad people in our family. This is what we do for them because they embraced Islam, obviously. So he encouraged all other tribes to do the same or to do similar thing to what Abu Jahl did to his brother. And they locked him into house. So that brother and Al-Walid ibn al-Walid, the brother of Khalid ibn al-Walid, and Salam ibn Hisham, which is the third brother of Abu Jahl, they were tied on and locked in Mecca, and Prophet Muhammad ﷺ in Al-Madinah. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, and this one has been narrated in 3 different stories, so we don't know which one exactly is the true one, but I'm going to tell one of them. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was narrated for him that during the prayer of As-Subh, after he stand from ruku' in the second rak'ah, he made dua, and he made dua specifically for the 3 people that I mentioned. The Sahabi, which we are talking about, and Al-Walid ibn Walid, which is the brother of Khalid ibn Walid, and Hisham, and Salam ibn Hisham, which is the second brother of Abu Jahl. And Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, he made dua for them in 15 continuous nights during Ramadan. From 15th Ramadan till the end of Ramadan, every day after Subh, he made dua to Allah Azza wa Jal for the 3 of them to be released and to set free from Quraysh. And this one of the story, the other story that he did the dua, but that after the prayer. So there are 3 different stories, but all of them agreed that Prophet Muhammad ﷺ mentioned the 3 Sahabas by their name in his supplication to Allah Azza wa Jal. And that shows us actually how Muslims should be united as one body. So when we make dua to our brothers everywhere, not only in Gaza, everywhere, it's a kind of obligation. It's their right. So this is their right for us to make dua for them. This is the least that we can do. And this is what Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, when he made the dua, the good thing about the dua, Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, when he made the dua, he could have done it secretly between him and Allah Azza wa Jal. But Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, because he's a prophet and he's a teacher, he wanted us to learn that we should make dua to our brothers. Any brother that in a trouble, we should make dua for him. So Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, he didn't forget his brothers in Mecca, and he knew that how much they are getting under oppression and under torture, and that's why Prophet Muhammad ﷺ made the dua for them. And the third story, Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, after the dua, he turned it to the Sahaba, and he made it out loud, not specifically to one of the Sahaba, but he said, "Man li bil Walid ibn al-Walid, man li." The Sahabi that we're talking about, man li bi Hisham ibn Harith, man li, something like who is capable to bring them to me, who is capable to bring them to me. Like he's talking to himself out loud. How can I get the 3 Sahaba out from Mecca into Al-Madinah? Al-Walid ibn al-Walid, I said the 3 Sahaba, Hisham ibn al-As. I'm sorry, not Al-Walid ibn al-Walid. Al-Walid ibn al-Walid was with the Sahaba at Mecca, Hisham ibn al-As, Salam ibn Hisham, and the 3rd Sahabi that we're talking about. Al-Walid ibn al-Walid was in the similar situation in Mecca, but he was able to escape from Mecca. So he was at the same position, but at Al-Mughira ibn Shu'bah, which is his father's house, but he was able to escape from Mecca around Badr time. So Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, the 3rd story that I'm talking, when Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, who is capable to bring them to me, the continuation of that story is Al-Walid ibn al-Walid, which is the brother of Khalid ibn al-Walid. He went back to Mecca and he were like a woman, something like that, and he entered Mecca trying to find where the 2 persons are, which is Salam ibn Hisham and the Sahabi that we are talking about. As we said, they are brothers. And he found a woman that she knows where they are located, and he secretly get into the house where they are in. And while he's trying to get them free, his finger got cut, and he said a couple of poems about this finger, that the meaning of the poem that it is a finger. So what's wrong if this finger goes for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal? And he took them back to the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And this is the story when the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, in one of the hadith, when Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam make dua for them for 15 continuous nights. For the night number 16, Umar ibn Khattab asked Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, why you stopped your dua for the three brothers? And by the time that Umar ibn Khattab asking Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam the question, he found that Al-Walid ibn Walid is entering the masjid or the mosque where the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is with the two Sahaba that we are talking about. So that was the incident or the situation for that Sahabi. The other Sahabi, which is Al-Harith ibn Hisham. So we said Al-Harith ibn Hisham and Amr ibn Hisham, they are the two people who got their brother back to their mother. So during that time, he was still disbeliever. And he stayed on disbelieving until the day of Fath Makkah. So on the day of Fath Makkah, if you remember last time we said Quraysh agreed, they get together and they agreed that they will not fight against the Muslim forces, and everyone in Quraysh obeyed and listened to this decision except few people, and Ikrimah ibn Abi Jahl was one of them, was actually the leader of this group. Al-Harith ibn Hisham, he was one of the group, but he didn't fight against Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He was in Mecca. But Sayyidina Ali ibn Abi Talib, once he entered Mecca, he was running after him to kill him. Ali ibn Abi Talib knows him very well. And Al-Harith ibn Hisham get into the house of Hani. Hani is the sister of Ali ibn Abi Talib, from the same house. So once he get into Hani's house, he requested her protection. So he was a refugee to Hani's house. And Hani, she went straight forward to the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, and he told him, there is a man, Ali ibn Abi Talib wants to kill him, and he requested my protection. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ accepted her request, and he told her, Ajarna man ajarti, which means we protect whoever you protect, Hani. And most of the books said the Sahabi that was protected by Hani was Al-Harith ibn Hisham or Abu Hubayra. So one of them. So if it is Al-Harith ibn Hisham, he is the brother of Amr ibn Hisham, which is the brother of Abu Jahl. And he became Muslim since Fath Makkah. So now Salam ibn Hisham, he's a Muslim, and he was captive with his brother during Mecca. We have Al-Harith ibn Hisham, he was a disbeliever until Fath Makkah, and then he embraced Islam. We have the Sahabi that we are talking about at the moment. He was a believer and Muslim since Mecca's time, and all of them were the brothers of Abu Jahl. And as the continuation, they all were murdered. The first one, which is Salam ibn Hisham, most of the stories, he was killed during the Abu Bakr era, before Abu Bakr by a few days. But the other two, which is Al-Harith ibn Hisham and the Sahabi we are talking about, and the Ikrimah ibn Abi Jahl, they all got murdered or got killed in Al-Yarmouk battle. If you remember, we said the story and the situation last week when they all were fighting into Al-Yarmouk against Byzantium, and they all were laid down on the floor. None of them died physically, but they were about to die. And we mentioned that Khalid ibn Walid went to Ikrimah ibn Abi Jahl with the water, tried to offer Ikrimah ibn Abi Jahl to drink. Ikrimah ibn Abi Jahl looked to his right, he found his uncle, which was Al-Harith ibn Hisham. He requested Khalid ibn Walid, or whether it was another Sahabi, to give him the water. And he looked, once he get into Al-Harith ibn Hisham, Al-Harith ibn Hisham looked to his right, and he found the third brother, which is the Sahabi that we are talking about today. He requested him to give him the water, and it continued for another 7 Sahabas. And as he reached to the last one, he asked him to go back to the first one, and as he got to the first one, he found him died, and that was Ikrimah ibn Abu Jahl. And then he went to other one, Al-Harith ibn Hisham, which is his brother, who embraced Islam during Fath Makkah. He found him died, and he went to the third one, which is a Sahabi we're talking about today, and he found him died, and he went to one after one, all of them, as he reached to each one, all of them were died. So the Sahabi that we are talking about today, I'm not sure if anyone get the name. I know it is not easy, but he is one of the great Sahaba, and he attended with the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ the Mecca's era, and he was in captive during the first part of Al-Madina's era, which is the Badr until Al-Khandaq, and after that he joined the Muslim forces and he attended a number of battles until he got chosen by Allah Azza wa Jal to be martyred during Al-Yarmouk battle. And his name is Ayyash ibn Abi Rabi'ah. Ayyash ibn Abi Rabi'ah. He is not a very famous Sahaba, but he's a great companion. And as you hear, the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ mentioned him by name in his supplication. That shows you how important this Sahabi and any other Muslim and every Muslim in the eyes of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. Last week's story and this story actually tells you that although Abu Jahl was the Fir'aun of Hazih al-Ummah, but Allah Azza wa Jal gave the chance to his brothers and his son to become the leaders and to become great companions of our Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. Although Al-Harith ibn Hisham was one of the reasons to get Ayyash ibn Rabi'ah into captive, but after that he became Muslim and Allah Azza wa Jal forgave him for everything that he did. And these guys, because they were going to Allah Azza wa Jal in a true way, Allah Azza wa Jal gave them the chance to fight for the sake of Allah. Not only to fight for the sake of Allah, but also to become martyr for the sake of Allah. And inshallah, in the hereafter we will see them, and we will sit to them to listen to their stories, not from someone like me, but from them inshallah directly. And by that time we will know how great companions they were. And these are the people that we need to take as examples. جزاكم الله خيرا سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين النبي الأمي الأمين محمد بن عبد الله عليه أفضل الصلاة وأتم التسليم ثم أما بعد. Today inshallah we're going to talk about one of the Sahaba from Quraysh, from the leaders of Quraysh. He is actually a leader and he is a son of a leader of Quraysh. And I think once I started to tell his story, you will get the name very quickly because he is very famous and his father is very famous. So that Sahabi, he's just to map how Quraysh look like. So Quraysh, it has number of tribes or number of big families inside Quraysh. And these families used to compete against each other. And one of the big families in Quraysh called Banu Khuzaymah, and this family where Umar ibn Khattab is from, and Khalid ibn Walid is from, and Abu Jahl is from this Qabila as well. So the Sahabi is from that family, Banu Khuzaymah. And the leaders for Banu Khuzaymah, Abu Jahl, Al-Walid ibn al-Mughira, and this Al-As ibn al-Rabi'. So this level from Quraysh, the old age, they were the leaders of Quraysh when Prophet Muhammad ﷺ started his da'wah. And their sons, similar to Khalid ibn al-Walid and Amr ibn al-As and Safwan ibn Umayyah, etc., they all, most of them became Muslim afterwards. But most of the old age, or the old generation, they died on disbelieving, and most of the young generation, they've been converted to Islam. So we are talking about one of the young generation. But his story is very interesting actually, because he didn't embrace Islam during Mecca, so he was one of the I would say the most difficult enemies against Prophet Muhammad ﷺ during Mecca, and he used to hate and fight Prophet Muhammad ﷺ just because of his father. So his father used to hate and fight Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, so he used to support his father against Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. And he continued like this, continued torturing people in Mecca, torturing the Muslim people in Mecca until the Badr battle. And in Badr battle, he was leading flank or a wing from Quraysh forces. And his father was also leader for the Quraysh forces. And during Badr battle, his father got killed by Muslims. And from this point, that was kind of a turning point for him, because previously he used to hate Prophet Muhammad ﷺ because he supports his father. But now he hates Prophet Muhammad ﷺ out of revenge. And now he wants to kill him because his father got killed by Muslims. So it's been changed to be a personal revenge or a personal fight between him and Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. And during Uhud battle, Uhud battle from the Quraysh force was led by three persons. So Abu Sufyan, and Abu Sufyan, one of the leaders from the old generation, one of the few leaders from old generation who become Muslim later on. And some of the seers book, they said that Abu Sufyan was the leader or the chief of Quraysh number 27. And 26 of Quraysh chiefs were killed during Badr battle. And that's why after Badr he became the leader, some of them. So Abu Sufyan, he was not one of the top like 3 or 4 or 5 leaders. No, he was one of the leaders like quite back in the row. But because most of the leaders, actually all leaders in front of him got killed during Badr battle, so he became the leader of Quraysh afterwards. So during Uhud battle, Quraysh, they had 3 leaders, one leading the whole army, which is Abu Sufyan, and the Khalid ibn al-Walid on the right side, and the Sahabi that we are talking about is on the left side. And by the way, he is relative to Khalid ibn al-Walid, and he is very close friend to him. So Khalid ibn al-Walid on al-Maymana, and that Sahabi was on the left side, which is Yamin and Yasar. And both of them, actually, we all know about Khalid ibn al-Walid and what he did for the Muslim forces. And then that Sahabi with the 700 riders, they supported Khalid ibn al-Walid. And then because of that, Quraysh, they were able to somehow get the victory at the beginning of Uhud battle. And when he was going to Uhud, he brought his wife with him, so she can catch or lead the females for the drums, the battle drums. So digging on the battle drums to encourage all the disbelievers' forces to get into the battle if they started to run from the or in front of the Muslim army. So he was one of the leaders. His wife was the leader for the women, and his father was a leader of Quraysh who got killed in Badr. So you just can imagine the situation of that Sahabi. And he continued to be against Prophet Muhammad ﷺ until the day of the Fath Makkah, when Prophet Muhammad ﷺ opened or conquered Mecca. And we all know that Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, when he was approaching Mecca, he sent the messengers to Quraysh to let them know that the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ with the Muslim armies are coming. And Quraysh, at that time, all the Quraysh leaders with the leadership of Abu Sufyan, they all get together to see what we're going to do, which decision now we're going to take. Are we going to fight? Or we're going to leave Mecca? What are we going to do? And they all decided that they will not be able to fight against Muslims' army because they were around 10,000 and the whole Mecca people was less than 3,000. So definitely they are not in the situation to fight against the Muslim force. And they decided that they will accept the judgment by Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, and they don't know what the judge would be, what the judgment or the decision will be. And out of Quraysh people, a very few persons decided to disobey this decision and to fight against the Muslim armies. And they were led by 3 persons, and that Sahabi was one of them. So even during Fath Makkah, he decided until the last moment, I'm going to fight against the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. I'm going to be died. That's absolutely fine for me, as long as I die when I was fighting against the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. And he was leading this small group, and Prophet Muhammad ﷺ sent a small group from Muslim fighters to fight against them. And the Muslim group was led by Khalid ibn al-Walid. So Khalid ibn al-Walid, that was the first time to fight against his close friend and his relative. But Khalid ibn al-Walid, at that time, he was Muslim, and his relative or his cousin was with the Quraysh, or actually he was leading the disbelievers against Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. And the Khalid ibn al-Walid tried hard to avoid them, tried hard not to kill any of them. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ instructed and commanded all the leaders to for prohibiting the bloodshed during the day of Fath Makkah, because Prophet Muhammad ﷺ does not want any kind of bloodshed or fighting happen during Mecca. But because of this group, this small fight had to happen, and Khalid ibn Walid he started to push them. A very few incident or minor incident occurred during that time, but at the end they all ran away from Mecca, including the 3 leaders that we are talking about. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ entered Mecca, and as you all know, that he set the Quraysh people free, and he told them whoever entered his house or the Abu Sufyan's house or enters the Al-Kaaba, he is safe. And Prophet Muhammad ﷺ gave them mercy, and he didn't do any revenge to them. Although he has all the rights in accordance to everything to kill all of them because of what they have done to the Muslims before. And Prophet Muhammad ﷺ gave this mercy to all Quraysh except 3 persons. And that Sahabi is one of them. And he said, for those 3, even if you see them holding on the Ka'ba's curtain or the Ka'ba's wall, kill them. I just need to imagine how bad the situation was. They were completely against the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. They did everything bad to the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ until the point the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, he forgot about the Abu Sufyan. He was the Quraysh leader. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ accepted from him that everyone gets into his house, he will be safe. He forgave all Quraysh people, regardless how much they did for him. And Quraysh people, they had too many people who harmed Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, including Hind bint Utbah, who killed his uncle Hamza ibn Abdul Muttalib. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ forgave all of them except 3 persons, and that Sahabi is one of them. And he said, if you see them holding the Kaaba, kill them. And this is at Arab, during that time, it was big thing. If someone touched the Kaaba and holding the Kaaba's wall or curtains, that means he's safe. He's saved by Allah, he's protected by Allah Azza wa Jal, not by human. And even disbelievers at that time, they would give him, they would let him safe. They would give him the protection or the safety. But Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, for these 3, and that Sahaba is one of them, if you see them holding the Kaaba, kill them. So the 3 of them, they ran away from Mecca. All of them, they ran away. And he went to Al-Yemen. And Al-Yemen, we know that the Sahaba previously, they have immigrated to Al-Yemen during Al-Najashi and Al-Habasha. But anyway, so he is the successor of Al-Najashi, and many people during that time from Al-Yemen were Muslims. And he got into one of the boats, or boat, it's a boat, in the sea, and he is seeking to run away completely from the Arab area. So he wants to get into the sea, to flee into the sea to any place away from Arab island, so Prophet Muhammad ﷺ and Muslims will not be able to reach out to him. Once he get into the boat and the boat started to sail, the boat started to shake because of the wind. And the leader of the boat, he said to the people inside the boat, he told them, Wallahi, nothing is going to save you from this situation but supplication to Allah Azza wa Jal. And he was surprised. Even the leader of this boat is Muslim. What can I do? And the boat started to shake. And the guys next to him started to make supplication to Allah Azza wa Jal. And at this moment, his heart started to think about Allah Azza wa Jal. If Allah Azza wa Jal is able to save me in the sea, that means He's able to save me in the land. So why would I need to run away? And due to these circumstances, the boat went back to Al-Yemen. And because of that, he went back to the land. During that time, his wife in Mecca went to the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ and embraced Islam. And she became Muslim. And she entered the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. She told him a few things about her situation and how she used to hate Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, and now how he loved her that much. She loved him that much. And after that, she told him, I understand and I know that you didn't give protection or safety to my husband, but I seek your forgiveness and mercy to make him safe. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ immediately told her he is safe. So she ran after him to bring him, and she doesn't know where he is. And she ran after him towards Al-Yemen. And she reached to Al-Yemen, and by that time, subhanAllah, what happened in the sea had happened, and he went back to the land. And for Allah Azza wa Jal made her to meet him. So she met him and she told him, let's go back to Mecca, and I talked to Prophet Muhammad ﷺ that you are safe. So go back to Mecca and speak to Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. And he was happy to see his wife and he wants to touch her, but she told him, no, you cannot because I'm Muslim. And then that was the second surprise for him. After what happened in the sea, that was the second surprise. And his heart started to, think more and deeply about the Islam. And during the trip, he decided to become Muslim. Now, I need to take you to Mecca. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ sitting with the Muslims, migrants and Ansar, and everyone, all Muslims sitting with Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. And this Sahabi is coming with his wife. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, Sayyidina Umar ibn al-Khattab, he is from the same tribe I told you earlier. Every time he sees this man, he insulted his father. Every time he sees his man, he insulted his father, because his father was one of the big enemies against the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam knows, and Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, subhanallah, he's a prophet. He is the mercy that Allah Azza Jal sent to the ummah. He's sitting with the Sahaba and he's saying that Sahabi coming, and he is telling them that Sahabi, his name, is coming as migrant. Although he is not migrant, he's from Mecca. But now he is migrant to Mecca. He's migrating to Mecca because he's coming back to Mecca as a migrant. Right? So he is coming as a migrant Muslim. So do not insult his father. Prophet Muhammad telling, although his father, Ibn Abbas, said that Allah Azza wa Jal revealed around 80 ayahs in the Quran for his father. Only for his father. Around 80 verses in the Quran because of his father. Just imagine. And that has been said, Prophet Muhammad still commanded the Sahaba not to insult his father, because if you insult his father, that would hurt him. And his father is already dead. So there is no benefit. We are trying to win hearts. And that was a very good advice from Prophet Muhammad. He taught us how to treat everyone else, actually, not only the Muslims, but especially in particularly the Muslims, how you treat them, regardless where his family from, regardless how his family look like, regardless how himself look like. This is how we should treat each other. And Prophet Muhammad commanded them not to insult his father, and then he approached Prophet Muhammad, and then he went to Prophet Muhammad. I need you to imagine the situation. What he's going to say to the Prophet Muhammad? What can he say? Nothing. He literally spent all his time, money, and efforts to fight against Prophet Muhammad. And now he is getting back to Prophet Muhammad to say the Shahada and become Muslim. So he said, Prophet Muhammad, what would I say? What would I say? Prophet Muhammad asked him to extend his hand, and then Prophet Muhammad welcomed him hard. And then he told him to say the Shahada. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. And then he told Prophet Muhammad, seek forgiveness for me. Ask Allah Azza wa Jal to forgive me. Prophet Muhammad, although it's a given, anyone who becomes Muslim, all his sins has been forgiven. But Prophet Muhammad make a specific dua for him, for Allah Azza wa Jal to forgive him. And not only Allah Azza wa Jal, he mentioned in his dua, and he seek forgiveness for this Sahabi, for everything that he said or did in presence of the Prophet Muhammad or in absence of the Prophet Muhammad. And he said it out loud in front of him. So he knows that Prophet Muhammad from his heart, from deep heart, he already forgave him, and he seek the forgiveness for him. And that's why this Sahabi has turned to become a very solid Muslim. And some of the books said he never did a sin since he became a Muslim. Not a single sin. Because he wanted to that he wanted to do a lot of good deeds that might erase the bad deeds he did before he became a Muslim. And from this point, he told Prophet Muhammad I will not rest until I spend every single dirham or efforts that I can do for Prophet Muhammad and for the sake of Allah, similar to what I used to do when I was fighting or when I was against the Islam religion. And from this point, that Sahabi has turned out completely. That Sahabi is a great warrior, but he didn't get the chance to fight in the Muslim office or the Muslim forces during Prophet Muhammad eras, because, as you know, he was disbeliever. However, Khalid ibn Walid did, but he didn't. So after Fath Makkah, there were very few battles which he Mu'tah, Prophet Muhammad didn't participate in Mu'tah, and Tabuk there was no fight. So he didn't get the chance to fight next to the Prophet Muhammad. So he stayed with the Muslims until Ma'arakat or the Al-Yarmouk battle. And the Al-Yarmouk battle, that was one, you remember we said Al-Qadisiyah, that was against Persian, and we said Al-Yarmouk, that was against Byzantine, and we said the Al-Yamama, that was against apostates. So in order, Al-Yamama during Abu Bakr era against the apostates, or who were believers and then they left Islam, and Al-Qadisiyah against Persian, and Al-Yarmouk against Byzantine. Remember these three battles because they are three key battles in the Islamic history. So Al-Yarmouk, that was against the Roma, or against the Byzantine Empire, and Khalid ibn Walid, and that Sahabi, they were one of the leaders. That battle has multiple leaders because it was the army, the forces was quite large. So it has multiple leaders. And both of them, if you remember, they were leaders for Quraysh during Uhud. So both of them in this battle, they are leaders for the Muslim armies. Not only them, but add to them Ayyash ibn Rabi'ah, brother of Abu Jahl. Add to them Al-Harith ibn Hisham, brother of Abu Jahl. Add to them too many Muslims, Amr ibn al-As, too many of the young generation who used to fight against Islam. Now they are the leaders of Muslim armies against Byzantine forces. So he was one of the leaders with Khalid ibn Walid, and he used to get deep into Byzantine forces. And Khalid ibn Walid told him, do not go that deep because your loss will be severe to Muslim forces. We need you here. So yes, we need to fight, but do not get deep. Khalid ibn Walid has a strategic way of thinking usually, and that's why he is a great leader. And Khalid ibn Walid, he knows when to get deep into the battle and when he stay behind. So that Sahabi, he wants to compensate the days that he missed during Prophet Muhammad ﷺ era, and he didn't get the honor to fight next to the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, so he does not think as Khalid ibn Walid thinking. And that's why Khalid ibn Walid told him, hold on, do not get that deep into the battle. And he told him, Khalid, stay away from me. You got the chance to fight next to the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ while I didn't get this chance. So I'm getting there, and he raised his voice, whoever wants to come with me, we're going into this battle and we will not get back from it until we are killed by the Byzantine people. And two, Durar ibn al-Azwar and Al-Harith ibn Hisham, they accepted his call, and three of them went into Byzantine battle. And after the battle has over, there were a number of the Sahaba or the companions lay down on the ground, and he was one of them. His uncle was next to him, and his uncle, the other uncle, was next to him. So they are two brothers but from different mother. So three of them were next to each other. They all from Quraysh leaders. They all used to fight against Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. And next to them there are 7 more companions from the Muslim forces. The 10 of them were about to die. None of them has died yet. Khalid ibn Walid saw them. So he went straight away into that Sahabi with a water to give him to drink. And he gave him the water to drink. He looked next to him and he said, he saw his uncle. So he told Khalid ibn Walid, give it to my uncle. He is in more need for the water than me. So he went to his uncle. So his uncle said the same thing. So go to Ayyash ibn Rabi'ah, which is the second uncle. He is in more need for the water than me. He went to Ayyash ibn Rabi'ah. Ayyash ibn Rabi'ah told him the same thing for the following Sahabi. So Khalid ibn Walid went to the 10 Sahabas. None of them accepted the water before other 9 Sahabas drank from the water. And as he reached to the last one, he asked him to go back to the first one, which is the relative and the close friend of Khalid ibn Walid. As Khalid ibn Walid reached to the first one, he found him died, and as he get one after one, all of them died, and all of them, they were in a bad need of this water, but because of the selfness or the ithar, they all decided, or they preferred to die for the sake of Allah, and they offered themselves before their brothers, and all of them thought that his brother is in more need than him, although each one of them, he was in a need of this water. It's a very emotional, interesting story, and that Sahabi, I think you all get the name now. He's Ikrimah, and his father is Abu Jahl, Fir'aun هذه الأمة. So that's show you how the Fir'aun of هذه الأمة, Abu Jahl, and how he was, and how Allah Azza wa Jal revealed the ayahs for Abu Jahl, and how his son become afterwards, which give us the hope when we invite people to Islam. You don't look at their past. Allah Azza wa Jal guide whoever He wants and give hidayah to whoever He wants. And you don't know, after he become Muslim, he might be the best amongst all of us, and he might be the great person that we all looking after and looking for, having him and the Muslims community. جزاكم الله خيرا. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.